good evening, and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. We've got to start the show off tonight very, very serious with, in light of the news, what we've received this week. As you can see, I've got my black armband on for Jurgen Klopp. Because the Scousers, bit of meltdown, aren't they? Joking aside, good evening, everybody. Paddy, stands back from his interview with KFC. Good evening, Anne-Marie. Good evening, everybody who's in the chat. How is everybody?
Just
good, thanks, Andy.
Myself and Stan are on TikTok.
Yeah. So what we've done tonight as well for the guys, I've managed to integrate it, hopefully, with a live feed for TikTok as well.
Working perfect. I'm watching it.
And it's working perfect. Brilliant. So yeah, anybody in TikTok, throw any questions in and stuff like that in the chat, and you are linked live with our YouTube feed as well tonight. So welcome everybody. So forget Klopp. I just want to say how brilliant we was on I keep going to say Saturday. This weekend's been extended for some reason. On Friday night, Anne-Marie. Listen, everyone's starting to come to terms now that Nathan Ake's an all right player, aren't they? I
think we've been saying that for over 12 months on this podcast. He never lets you down. He's reliable. He plays well and pops up. He did it last year against Arsenal in the FA Cup.
He sounds just like me.
But scoring a goal and again on Friday. And I think we were unlucky with the first goal as well. I thought Bob did really well to be there and be in the right position.
Yeah.
Spurs didn't threaten us really at all. And I think it shows how much they missed Son, to be honest, because he's very much a thorn in our side when we play against him. But we've got that monkey off our back now as well about not having scored a goal or won at Tottenham's new stadium. We did both on Friday, so that was good for us, I think.
Not in the league.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got that Udo away now. It's not just that. I just thought we was very, very dominant as well, Stan. I just from minute one, but. I think I tweeted sort of like with about 10 minutes ago, we was that good, but it was 0-0. Was it going to be like a kick in the
gonads?
Jurgens.
In the what?
A kick in the Jurgens.
A kick in the Jurgens. But it just sort of like felt like that, but it just. Listen, I just was absolutely drooling over him on Friday night. It's probably one of the best we've played all season, that and Newcastle aside.
Yeah, I mean, I said after the game, didn't I, on the site that it was comfortable. It was a lot more comfortable than it looked, and it's that usual 10 minutes ago, it's 0-0 and it's City. You're never going to shake that off, and you're just thinking, oh, here we go. We think we've turned as well, because the number of goals, we do all right. We really do okay. Obviously, it's gonna take a long time, and nobody would ever turn around and say at 0-0 we'll be all right. But did they have a shot on target?
Not the first half.
I had a few shots on target on Friday night. Felt it though on Saturday morning. Paddy, like what Pardo's saying there, evening pal. Kovacic is coming good too. Yeah, it's been a gradual process, hasn't it? But he's starting to. He's not only starting to play well, he's giving Rodri that little bit of freedom to go forward as well. So I think that's the first time since since Fernandinho was gone and Rodri's been sort of like in there on his own that Rodri's actually, it looks as if he's got that trust there that he can go forward and he's got somebody to mop up at behind it, if need be.
Well, there's two things in that, just to say what Anne-Marie was saying there about Ake. The the moment of the match for me, and I put it up in the group, was when he actually headed the ball on the ground. They stopped the counter attack.
Yeah,
like that was 110% commitment. But in terms of Mateo, like he played with Rodri for the first 6 or 7 matches when we went on that winning streak, and then he was out of the team. And then I know Rodri was out of the team, and we drew a couple, and we lost against Villa, was it? So it's not by accident the team are playing well when his partner Rodri in the middle of the team.
Yeah,
I definitely remember that song we used to sing, "City You're Back." I think we are. I think we're back now. I think there's just on Friday night. It was like, yeah, they're like telepathic. They're reading each other.
they look as if they've got it together. Anne-Marie, I said to a few people, it might have been on Martin's show actually, one night last week, that every club has a team what they can't beat for X. You know, we it used to be Middlesbrough for us. In fact, it used to be everyone for us. But Everton used to be one where, you know, we used to struggle against. But in particular, Middlesbrough, I think Sheffield United. You know, you go through them cycles where you no matter what you can do. Listen, with Middlesbrough, I forget what year it was now at Main Road. I think we had 38 shots on target. Middlesbrough didn't have one on target, and they won 1-0. That just sums like a jinx team up, doesn't it?
And Tottenham have become that team for us, home and away in a lot of ways. You know, last season with I think it was 4-2, we ended up winning. You know, that was a complete. You know, it was one of those you never expected it really, and on Friday watching us, I never expected to get beaten. And I think somebody commented about Richarlison. He's nothing but a cheat, that lad.
He's horrible.
He rolls around on the floor, holding his face when nobody's been near him, and it's a disgrace. And how he doesn't get pulled up on it, you'll never know.
He's horrible. He's a horrible player.
I think that's the rule should be brought in, like for VAR. If you go down holding your face and stop play, and it turns out after VAR check it was nowhere near your face, you should be booked. It's the same for stimulation inside in the box diving. If you go down holding your head, knowing the ref is going to stop play when the other team are on the attack, you should be booked. You should be like retrospectively, the ref should go back and book you.
Nick was saying there. I don't know if it's you, Stan, or Spurs had one shot on target.
Yeah, I didn't think it was meant for a team, you know, for a team like that at home. It's embarrassing. It's genuinely embarrassing. One shot on target.
I wouldn't say it's embarrassing, mate. I would say we was just brilliant. You know, you get games like that, don't you? You know, for us to go. You know, we had all this. We're going to be jinxed again. You know, going there before the match started on Friday, but we went there, and it must have been in the players and Pep's mind thinking we've not even scored it, because I think at the back end of last season when we won the treble, a reporter asked Pep, you know, what can you achieve now, and he said to score a goal at Spurs. So it must be in the players' heads and stuff like that as well as Pep's. So to go there and dominate it how we did. Fair play, and I thought young Oscar Bob played really, really well as well.
Yeah, it's not that. I'm not disagreeing with that. And a lot of what goes on amongst fans is, you know, the City gallows humour that we've had for years and years. That's not going to go away. You know, it was only last week I started realising that when we were 2-0 up, it wasn't time to panic, because I've seen it that often when we've just fallen apart at the end. But you're talking here of a team that have got aspirations to be in Europe. You got a team here that's spent a lot of money. I mean, maybe if Richarlison stopped rolling around, I'm hoping Postologgi will have realised you stop rolling around. You may well have scored. Keep your mind on the game. But for them, I'm just looking at them from their point of view. To have played at home and had one shot on target, playing embarrassing. Would that be acceptable on here on a Sunday night if we'd have done that against them? We'd have gone bonkers.
Bonkers. We'd have gone bonkers, won't we, mate?
No, but it's an interesting thing, isn't it? It's like, the reality is we played really, really well on Friday night and got what we deserved.
Yeah.
And you just watch. I've just finished watching the United Newport game, and they interviewed Ten Hag after the game. Now, the reality is it was a game United were expected to win easy, and it wasn't as easy as they expected it to be. So when they came to interview Ten Hag, at no point did they give Newport any credit for the way they played. It was all about them. And I just think that's disrespectful. It's like it's about it, like Ipswich slagging off Maidstone maybe for yesterday and their celebrations. But you've got to give these other teams credit for the way they play. Yeah, we were brilliant on Friday night, but again, you can only play what you're up against. And Spurs.
That's my saying.
I tell you what, though, Anne-Marie, don't you reckon again? United was stifled by European opposition. They found it very, very difficult.
You're right.
I thought the Rags had found their level tonight.
I don't know. I think with a bit more consistency, they'll get there.
And that's a good point. What Pat Bardo's saying there, isn't it? The Abu Dhabi trip is hopefully giving us a lift to go on to another super run. Yeah, but and I tell you what I was giggling at the Liverpool match in the first 2 minutes of that match tonight. They'd mentioned about Liverpool could go on to do the quadruple. I didn't realise it was in the Champions League for one.
Yeah, they can't do that.
And just because Mr. KFC himself is going, don't give him the divine right. You've got to work hard for it. Liverpool don't scare me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I must admit, the only KFC that I did do this weekend, it was Klopp freed from contract. So they had a word with me.
I shouldn't mention KFC to you, should I, mate? Because seeing as you went there for the job. How did you get on anyway?
They rang us up, didn't they? Because they realised United had made the change, and they were wondering what changes could be made in Liverpool. Then they said, you got some decent people over at Manchester. So I went down and guided them. And I said, KFC's the way, mate.
Did you get to see Pep's recipe?
Get to see Pep's what?
No. Well, the recipe was, give Klopp the freedom of his contract, and off he went. And they'll be able to move forward again now when they get a proper manager in.
Hello, DC. Yeah. Hello, non-cursed treble winners. Sounds good, that, doesn't it? Sounds good.
Yeah, I definitely think we've clicked. We're back. There's a belief in that team, the way they're playing.
Yeah, and like I think it was I forget who said finger before. I'll find it for you. And I tell you what's a key point as well. Hang on, let me find it. I'll find it for you. Well, basically, Haaland and KDB have only played 20 minutes together this season.
Yeah.
So that bodes quite well because Kev's getting his back up to speed and stuff like that now. Got cover starting to tick over.
I don't mean to single anyone out, but Foden's on level this season for some reason. He's destroying defences. The way he takes that ball in the half turn, there's nobody in the Premiership doesn't like him.
That's probably true, that top of the league. Everyone seems to sing it. I thought you had Barcelona's fans singing it the other night. It's just stuck in my head. but yeah, it's like Anne-Marie said, we're just starting to click now. On TikTok, a good lad, Gunners, he's we have a bit of chat. So Gunners, you tell us how you think you're going to be between now and the end of the season, because we've got a few more days of the transfer market, left. can you see yourselves doing anything, or do you think you're done? Don't know. Tell us. Same with the guys in the chat. Do you think we're going to bring anyone in? I still think we're going to bring 2 in, and everyone thinks I'm bonkers, but do we need to?
We've brought one
We
in
don't
already.
think yeah, but he's not coming the next January.
I do. I just think there's just something. There's just. I don't know. I can. But
you're not going to find me in January.
Do we need anyone? Do we need to bring anyone in?
Not desperately.
I don't think so. No. But if you listen to the ex-players talking that when a new player comes in, it does lift the squad, especially if he's coming in your position.
Yeah, I remember that, Michael. You just that talk about when we used to have hoodoos and stuff like that. But yeah, good evening, Martin. We were outstanding Friday, both on and off the pitch. And something, nobody can ever point fingers at City fans, especially away from. So I think predominantly all Premier League fans at their home grounds are not the best. But you tend to see the best of football fans when they're away from home. Yeah, I didn't hear you on Friday, Martin. I saw your video. You filming it.
Tourist.
Tourist. But yeah, seriously, I just thought the fans yet again was brilliant on Friday.
It's just a shame the same can't be said for West Brom and Wolves fans earlier on today. That was a bit of a disgrace.
That was bad.
Yeah,
that was really bad.
Gunnar says he don't think anything's coming in at Arsenal, but they need a centre forward massively. Me and Gunners have spoke about that.
So we give them one. How many did we want?
No. There's a striker. You be careful, Anne-Marie, how you say that.
I know, but did they not take Jesus off our hands?
Yeah, but he's not a prolific. Listen, Gab's not.
Okay, go back to Gunnar and just say to him, why on earth?
He can hear you.
All right, okay. Well, Gunnar, the question is, you knew before the start of this season you needed a striker, and you went out and you spent £70-odd million on Havertz, who didn't score that regularly for Chelsea. So why on earth did you think he was going to solve your problems? Why did you not go out and buy a striker at the start of the season?
Number 89 on the Chinese menu plays in the centre of the park.
Alex says, cannot wait for the Manchester derby. God help those rags. Newport 15th in Division 2. Do you know something? I'm absolutely delighted that derby has been moved till the Sunday, because as I say, I would have been in the 30,000 feet up while the game was being played. So it's been moved to the Sunday now, 4:30. I am delighted with that one because I'll be able to see it now. Well done, Premier League. Gunners has replied, he's put Havertz 60 million. I don't understand that. All waste of money, but I trust Mikel Arteta. There you go, Emery.
That might be the beginning of your problems.
Yeah, 110 for Rice.
Yeah. So, Oscar Bob is a footballer, isn't he? I don't mean who's a footballer. I mean, I was very, very impressed with him on Friday because it just shows you that he's got that next level, hasn't he? So, like, to get in the City side, you've got to be like Foden-esque and above. You've got to be better than a McAtee and stuff like that. He's clearly showing that, because otherwise he would have been loaned out. You can tell that he's part of the legitimate first team squad now.
Oh, 100% he is, Andy. I think he's in the best position for one of our young players, and it was one of the things that always stood out with Foden when he started getting the odd game here and there, is you're missing. They're playing without fear. They're coming into a brilliant team. They've got good teammates around them who are going to support them, and they can play their game without playing with any fear. And I think that in itself is the way forward. And I think that's one of the reasons why Palmer didn't maybe work quite as well with City, because I think he was afraid of making a mistake.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't see Bob or even Foden being worried about that, because they know they're going to get backed up by the teammates and they can get back quick enough to win the ball back. And I think the confidence is there through that, because they're being allowed to play their game.
No, I
That was
totally
partly
agree.
the same
Totally
with
agree.
Lewis as well.
Yeah. I do agree. Martin, on your little point there, my friend. So you're missing the derby, fake fan, lol. You knew I was missing the derby because you was trying to get the ticket off me for one of your overseas friends, mate. Sorry about that. Whoosh.
I think it's a fair point that Hammer. Why was it then that Cole Palmer felt couldn't express himself and be all right in the way that Foden and Rico and Oscar Bob can? I think it's just something in his makeup, or
I think it partly is something in his makeup, and also I think it's something in the fans' makeup as well. For whatever reason, the fan base would be more likely to get on Cole Palmer's back if he made a mistake than they would if it was Foden or Lewis. And I think that was part of it. So
it's weird. It's a weird one. I get what you're saying. I really do. I don't know how to word it myself. It's just Cole Palmer seemed under so much pressure. Now, whether it's because he was more of a local lad than, say, Oscar Bob, I don't know. But with Oscar Bob, everybody seemed to think that Oscar Bob was a right-sided winger, if you like. I think he's playing better on the left, and that everyone was going on about Doku versus Grealish. I think we've got another threat there to play anywhere across the front.
Yeah, 100% agree.
He's another player. He's in multiple roles,
and it's not. Listen, it's not. Paddy, it's not a case though, is it? Of you've got to have your preferential player than the other. I'm not, but I if it was Top Cat in a City shirt, I'd be backing Top Cat. It doesn't matter.
And who plays, but whoever plays in that blue shirt, you get behind.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
The only thing Palmer says last year when he came back before he went to Chelsea, he says he did suffer with a crisis confidence for the last 6 months. He seemed to find that confidence in Chelsea because probably he's getting regular football there and there's not as much pressure on him. He's not a bad footballer by any stretch of the imagination, but has he got the temperament to be in that team? Has he the temperament to sit in the bench like Foden did, or Bob will do, or Lewis will do, or Rico Lewis, or that young lad Hamilton? He'd be in shortly into the first team. Do they have that temperament to sit in the bench and think, I'm going to wait my turn because I'm getting the chance to train with superstars day in and day out, and I'm learning off the best in the world in terms of Pep? Palmer didn't want to do that.
As a young lad, you'd be stupid not to. I get professional football's a short career, Stan, but for not to moan or want a way out or to go on loan, you'd sacrifice a year or two to stay, even if it needs to be, on the bench, getting the odd games, training with them, training with the best manager on the planet. Would you sacrifice a couple of years to do that, or would you want to go seeking first team football?
I think it's going to come from within, innit? If you just think you're not quite going to make it, they're on the training field every day, and lads at work, there'll be a pecking order. They'll know who's it. They'll know what's what, and if you've got a bit of a weakness in there, it's going to be difficult. So, particularly if you're not a City fan, and like you say, it's a short career. And plenty of players have gone from big clubs to smaller clubs and bounced back again. It's a well-worn path. I just think at the end of the day, why would you want to sit on a bench that you're thinking, all right, I'm learning from the best in the world, but there are other managers out there, and if I show what I can do, I might get that down quicker.
It's different with Palmer, I think, and it's the same for all the young lads that come into City's team. There is an expectation, A, that they're going to play a certain kind of football, and B, that we're going to win things. That expectation, whether we like it or not, is there now. And I think for the likes of Palmer going to Chelsea, despite the money that Chelsea have spent and getting the new manager in, I don't believe there's the same expectation. So it's easier for Palmer in that team now. But if they win a trophy and start to pick up, I think you won't see Palmer in that team so much, because I think if the pressure
That's
what I said at the beginning, though.
Yeah,
with the training, but we only get to see them players, say, for 90 minutes, maybe once or twice a week. I think in the training camp, when they're all training together, the likes of Cole Palmer, and he sees what he's up against, and it might be a psychological thing. He might turn around and say, "Do you know what? I'm not up to it. I'm not going to push my way to this team. I might get the occasional cup game or whatever, but if I go somewhere else, I have the skills to be able to get in their first team." There's no hiding in training. There's no hiding from Pep in training. There's no hiding from the stats in training. So it might be a psychological thing with Palmer, where Oscar, Bob, Foden, Lewis, they don't seem to have that issue.
I think our focus should be more on who we've actually got, because, as I say, I do want to speak a bit more about Oscar Bob, because it was what at the start of the season. I guess I was a little bit guilty of it as well, Anne-Marie, where I was like that. Why are we getting rid of Palmer? Because Oscar Bob's not necessarily better than what Cole Palmer is. But I think, I know it's Pep and the backroom team and all that, they know more than we will ever know. But maybe there was an attitude problem there where Oscar Bob is chomping at the bit. Like, as Cole Palmer, or did Cole Palmer go as far as he could go with Pep coaching him?
I think there is probably an element of that, Andy. But again, it comes down to you look at Bob, and Bob came in and he's grabbed his opportunity with two hands. There's no doubt in that. He's had the opportunity, be it in the Champions League and against Newcastle, and now in the FA Cup, and he's grabbed his chance and run with it. And that's not something, even in the couple of games he played at the beginning of this season, and I know he scored a couple of goals, but that's not something we've seen with Cole Palmer. And that, again, I think comes down to the confidence thing. Bob, Lewis, Foden, it's Hamilton, isn't it? Micah Hamilton.
Yeah.
They've been given an opportunity. They've grabbed it and run with it. And they've taken the opportunity to show what they are capable of in with a team of superstars. And there's been no game this season where, or in previous seasons, where you've watched Palmer, whether he's started or whether he's come on, that you've seen him and thought, wow, he's a player. And yet,
I get what Martin's. I totally get what Martin's saying. Martin's saying, Bob looks exciting, but too early to tell. Been down this road so many times, and if we buy wingers in the summer, what happens then? I totally get that, mate. What I would say is, I think Oscar Bob looks something special, whereas I don't think he's a one-trick pony. I think if you're going to compare it, listen, we can only compare him to Cole Palmer now, can't we? Because he's effectively took Cole Palmer's place. What I would say is, Oscar Bob seems like he can play anywhere along that, up, whether it's left, right, or up the middle, what we've seen this season. I think Cole Palmer's more. You couldn't put Cole Palmer on the left. I know you don't have to have every player what has to play in, multiple positions and stuff. I don't know. I just think there's something special there with Oscar Bob, but I know what you mean about not overhyping it.
But I get
we have that situation.
But I don't think we'll be buying wingers. Like if Oscar Bob keeps going the way he's going, you're going to have Bob, Duku, Grealish. If Silva goes, you might have to replace him. But I don't think at the minute we need a winger. So when we are buying players in the summer, we're not going to be buying a winger. They put kind of like Oscar Bob on backtrack. I don't think too good for that. I don't think we're going to buy a winger in the summer. I think we'll be buying fielders. We don't need a striker. Yeah. We don't need a striker because we have Haaland and Alvarez. To be honest with you, and this is going to sound really, really arrogant, we don't really need much.
It's always, listen, if you don't, listen, same with life. If you stand still, you die. It's important to keep refreshing no matter what. So if we don't,
I know.
If we don't buy in the summer, if we don't buy in January, it's important to bring somebody in regardless. Doesn't necessarily have to be a marquee signing or anything like that. But I think it's important you bring somebody in because you'd be training with somebody else. Somebody else will come in with different ideas. What Stephen's saying there, Kovacic is looking more of a pet player, quick learner, hopefully. Yeah, because a lot of people was down on Kovacic when he joined. It was like, have we made a poor signing there? A, it was 25 million. B, the wealth of experience he's got is incredible. C, he was injured. He was injured a lot of the time. It didn't help when Rodri went. He was sort of like in and out of the team stand when Rodri was also did his three match suspension because he wasn't fully match fit himself, and everybody was. You can't compare anybody to Rodri.
No.
Do you know what I think? I think it's important that we do tonight over on about signings and stuff like that. But I think it's important that we acknowledge Calvin Phillips because he has been an absolute model professional for our club. He didn't spit his dummy out once, and so I would like to say the best luck to him in West Ham, and I hope he succeeds.
No, I do, mate. But rather than him not giving us a minute's trouble, I'd like a bit more oomph to try and get a starting lineup. Rather than just go, got chewing gum and I can smile.
But it's just we always talk about levels, and unfortunately for Calvin Phillips, he's not at the Man City level, and he'll not be the first player to come and fail at Man City. He didn't fail; he just didn't make it. He just doesn't. He's not able to reach the heights that's within that team. Like as I said before, there's no hiding spot in that team. They don't carry passengers. You're going to be exposed if you're not up to it. Brilliant footballer, but just not at the level that's required at our presently. That might change in the future, but right now there's too many people in front of him.
Well, says not disagreeing, Andy, but we do have players that can quite simply multitask and do and not do a bad job, do they? Foden, classic, absolutely Blue Art, and I might have come across the wrong way there. That's what I'm saying. We've got players who can play across anywhere, be it in the middle of the park, the top three, defensively. That's where the interchanging what we've got. It's just incredible. Martin. I'm just with his soup. Thank you, Martin. I'm just saying with Doku, Grealish, Bob, possibly Paqueta. How many bringing in you? Etc. Alvarez. That's all I'm saying. No, I totally get what you were saying, Martin, and that's why I said everybody. Listen, and again, he's had injuries. Everyone went overboard with Doku when Doku came in. That also had a detrimental effect on Grealish, whether it's psychological or whatever. In my mind, but now we're seeing, something. He's not as safe as Jack. His ball retention. Listen, just get behind everyone. Get behind everyone, no matter who's playing on that pitch. Because when you start having
just to pick up in your,
everybody has favourites.
What you were saying, Andy, about the kids,
thing is
the age we have who can play in different positions. Do you ever notice about all the young kids who come into that team? They can play 3 different positions. That's not by accident.
That's
the thing I was going to say, though. When Doku came in, I think it affected Palmer far more than it did with Grealish. Grealish knows what he was. He's been established. Palmer's probably thinking, he brought somebody else in who could play across the front. Where and when am I going to get a chance of having 10 runs, 10 league games on the bounce? He said it before, though, Pep, that he keeps a small squad and he's got multi-talented players that can play in multi positions. And that's great. That gives that rotation that we need, and it does what it wants, and it keeps it fresh, and it keeps everybody engaged, so that we're not having somebody who hasn't played for 3 months suddenly having to do something one Friday night at Tottenham or wherever. But then you throw on top of that, to be honest with you, I've got to the point now where I'm not really that interested in what anyone does for the first 6 months, because we've got absolutely no idea what they're getting taught and what they're training for and how they're going to start slotting in until Pep does his grand reveal in January to say, right, I'm now playing Doku in net and I know Edison's good enough to play in midfield. We'd all go, what's going on? But then, 5 or 6 matches later, you start thinking, hang on a minute, what's he doing here? You can see then what he was doing. And we don't see, who's the lad who come from Wolves or whatever it was? I forget his name, the Brazilian kid.
Nunez.
We don't see too much of him, but he's in the background there because there's a few people in front of him. And he'll be working away at either knowing when to release the ball, knowing when to hold on to the ball, and all these little things that you need to do when you're playing in a really difficult part of a Pep system. They're all difficult because you can be a right back one week and a holding midfielder the next week.
Bless you.
Kovacic has had to come in. He's got the experience of 10 years in the game, international, end of the year, in the running for European tournaments and stuff like that. He knows where it is. Even he's going to take a little bit of time, and now he is starting to settle in. Funnily enough, about 6 months after he started. I think you're right there. He did suffer a little bit because Rodri was off for 3 games and he had to go in unprepared straight away. And we're at that point now where the pool of players that we can go for is very, very, very small. Very small. We can't just go out there and get Fred Smith because he's going to have to be a really talented Fred Smith, even at 19, 20.
And what's wrong with Fred Smith?
We'll go out and get unknowns or unknowns like your Savios and that kid we just got from Argentina and 1 or 2 of the other ones that come in. We'll go and get them, but we're not going to be playing them unless they're pretty certain they're going to get in the first team. They thought that with Doku, but then again, they might have put him in there thinking we'll play him later, but then Palmer left. Grealish was still a bit injured, and they had to play him. It's all those things. All of that affects the whole caboodle of what's going on, the squad dynamic, the balance of the team, the experience of the player, knowing what to do and when not to do in a really, really difficult situation that Pep puts them in. And only the very, very best are going to survive. And if you're a tiny little bit out, you're gone. Or you won't get back, or you have to sit for a year on the bench when you were in England international. That's Pep life.
Absolutely spot on. Anne-Marie, do you want to read Martin's super chat out? Thank you, Martin. Appreciate it. I show everybody's comments anyway, mate. You support, appreciate, but thank you.
You heard the new one now. Pep never shouted at Jack like he did Doku. I will let you guess the assumption.
Read the rest of it out.
Laugh out loud.
Lol. Yeah, and I've got a question for you 3 off Gunners as well, and I'll ask the same to everybody else in the chat as well. It's interesting because I've actually put that as a question, Gunners, and he wants to know: will we win the treble again this season? Well, Martin will tell you. I said from the from the get-go when we played Burnley, I thought we'd win the treble again. Let us know what you, in the chat and stuff like that. I do. Anne-Marie?
I'd like to say yes. But for me, the most important thing to win this season is the Premier League. Above everything else, I want Premier League this season. I want the 4 in a row.
Connect 4. That's what we want. Stamp.
That's what we want.
We've 100% got it in us. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But, and this is where it comes in it, the big but, it's football. You can be drawing 0-0 and everything's fine. A cross comes over, somebody skews the ball, it flies over Edison's net and you get beat 1-0, you're out of your net. And they're the margins that are so fine. You don't know. I honestly don't think you don't know, basically. You just don't know.
Paper, yes.
Can we do it? Yeah. Will we? Who knows?
Good evening.
On paper, yes. On grass, different.
Good evening, Stuart. Jan Koto is looking more and more like a Pep fullback by the week. Going to be quality for us next season. Decent final ball. It's mad, isn't it, Anne-Marie, what Girona are doing? Oh,
it's incredible. And you only need to look at obviously the announcement last night that Barca's manager's gone at the end of the season as well. Is that a sign that maybe that's where Klopp's heading next? Who knows?
Where? No, I think the German national team Klopp will go to.
Very possibly, but what's interesting is Girona come under our banner, don't they? They're part of the City footballing group. So, it's interesting to see how we're trying to replicate the systems in there as well. So there's nothing to say they can't beat Real Madrid and win the league.
They beat Real Madrid last year 4-0.
Exactly. There's a lot. But the pressures in football are obviously becoming untenable for a lot of these managers because, for Klopp to go the way he's going, Barca's manager to go the way he's going, and you can see, who wants to be picking up a paper every day or reading the internet every day where people are, out to get you. I mean, it's happening all the time with City as well. Don't get me wrong. I think Pep, I know there's talk of Pep extending his contract. Pep, for me, will go nowhere until these charges are sorted out. And once these charges are sorted, he'll quite likely say what he's thinking and what he's been holding back from saying, and then he might well go because it'll be, but I think the pressure on these managers is unreal.
Yeah. And listen, when the news, before I say out, Tristan on TikTok says, yes, I agree with the nice lady. I just want 4 in a row. Who's the nice lady? You can't mean Anne-Marie.
Call Anne-Marie. Yeah.
Oh, Anne-Marie.
Of course it is. I'm the only nice lady on here. Unless there's something you want to tell us.
You start misgendering people, Anne-Marie. No, Stan doesn't identify as a woman.
Well, yeah. Stan might well identify as a woman. I think his hair's longer than mine.
Yeah.
Right. What
I'm just happy to add. With the way my eyesight's going, I'm just happy to identify.
I know you are, because it looks like you're talking to the fridge there, not your camera.
Spend too long at KFC in the fridge.
Right. To be serious, right? When Klopp did his interview the other day, he looked a broken man. Listen, I don't like the man. I don't like the club. So he had my not sympathy, but what's come out with the Liverpool fans since then, I'm finding absolutely crazy. It's like someone's lost a member of the family or something. So what? Are City fans going to be the same when Pep does go, or is it just going to be totally different?
No, they won't. They'll wish him all the very best and thank him for everything he's done, like normal people.
And do you know what is, Dan? Because we're battle hardened. We've been there. We've been Division 2. We've seen Dross. We've seen Lewes. We've seen Swales, Alan Ball. You name it. We've seen it. And Liverpool have never been used to that level of poverty. What do you call it? Like, we've seen
They
it.
have. They have, but a lot of them are too old to remember it. Well, I mean, to be fair, they were beaten when they were in Division 2. They were in Division 2 for a long time. They were beaten in the FA Cup by Worcester. Worcester were even lower down. Well, they were non-league. They were lower down the pyramid than Newport. And they were going nowhere. And they brought in Shankly on the recommendation of Busby. Then the money came in. And then suddenly they found enough money to buy St. John and Ron Yates, forking out the same money that we'd spent on Dennis Law. And they said, oh, look at you. You spent money even then. We'd been in 2 FA Cup finals about 3 years earlier. We had money because we were doing well. And then suddenly all that gets forgotten about because some fool's mouth turns up and they won the lottery. The biggest laugh going is, tell you what, Pep Guardiola, he'll never be anything until he manages somebody that's not at the top. What, you mean like Bob Paisley? Didn't do anything. Went into a club at the top, left before he needed to do a team rebuilding, and then waddled off saying he's the greatest manager in the world ever.
What was that? Stan, give it a Stan.
Stan, what was with that voice then?
I'm going into Roy Keane mode. Do us a favour. No, I'm going into Roy Keane mode there. Do us a favour. He had a team that was miles ahead of everyone else. Beat the likes of Vikings, Stavanger. He even got a bye in one of them rounds. They played about 9 games maybe. You've got harder group stages now than he did when he was playing the whole lot. So there we go. You know what I mean? Well done, Bob. Good lad. Never amount to anything. Never managed a mid-table team. They're your rules. You stick with it.
And that's the same with me, that DC, that's if I had to pick one, not just this season, any season, Premier League over any trophy for me. But I do think we're going to win the treble. I really do. Gunners wants to know where does everyone think Arsenal will finish at the end of the season? Well, as you know, and I've told him myself, I think they'd finish outside the top 4, and I still think it's going to happen.
No, I think they'll get top 4, but I think it will be just.
Hey?
I think Liverpool will fall away with Klopp's movement.
I don't know. I just
that top 3 will be us, Liverpool and Arsenal.
That's a great point by top of the league. We should be asking, can we do 5? We already have 2. It's a good shout. Good shout. Or are we being too greedy? Martin's put, I don't want to treble AA. Is that Alcoholics Anonymous, or did you break down your new car, mate? Honestly, I think Pep doesn't extend, then AA. What else does he have?
He's won everything and he scored at Spurs, so it's time to go.
That's what I was going to say. He's won at Spurs as well as scoring at Spurs. So I don't know. I still think Pep's not ruled out not extending, has he?
No. He even hinted at it this week, I think.
Did you hear what he said when he was asked about off? He went, "I'll sleep better."
Yeah.
Good evening, Elton Brown, mate. How are you? Say that again, mate.
I think Pep is because he's a Catalan and he sees that the Premier League and the cartel clubs are against City, and I think he has found his home, his spiritual home.
I tell you what, it was interesting what Klopp said actually about he'll never manage another English side. He's not managed one because they class themselves as scouts, not English, don't they?
Did you see the underwhelming reaction to that? All right. Nice one, Jürgen. You're not going to manage us.
Again, Martin says treble is so special and so hard, and why I think we just missed one of them. Can't decide if FA Cup or Champions League. You're right. It is so special to do, Martin, but we've got a special team. We've got, I don't know, we've just got a special manager. The possibilities are endless with what we've got. I really do. And that's not arrogant or thingy. That's
just better.
Yeah, it's just the facts, and I don't know. I just think there's something special going on.
And there's a blonde fella to come back next.
It's not me, is it?
Unless you're pure
blonde. Go on, Blue Art. You might as well be greedy, Blue Art. You can't take them with you. So let's just get them trophies shoveled in there.
And the point Paddy's making there, yeah, Haaland's back on Wednesday, isn't it? So Haaland and De Bruyne have not really played this 20 minutes. So that's going to give the likes of Alvarez a bit of a respite because he does need a break. I've said it for weeks and weeks. He needs a break. So that is only going to benefit us where once he has a break and he starts coming on, say, as a sub or maybe it's Haaland as a sub, all of a sudden the squad again is going to be a lot fresher. Stones is going to be there or thereabouts. So all of a sudden we're looking at a full strength team, squad. And it's just, listen, the possibilities are.
You know one thing that De Bruyne does that most of that Man City team don't do, and maybe it's because he's fearless and he's not afraid of Pep's reaction. He smashes that ball across that box. All the rest of them pass it back and they restart and they reset and go again. De Bruyne smashes it across the box. Watch him. And Haaland knows that's coming and it's going to go in the back of the net. That's why they link up so well. But not even Walker against Spurs smashed it across the box a few times and it creates panic. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I like to see Jack do that or Oscar Bob or Druku or whatever. Just smash it across the box. It's all right.
Who's Duku? You're quackers, mate. FM Browning says Xavi as Pep's number 2 next season. Well, as long as it's at City, mate, and not at Barca. Do you think that could happen?
Nowhere.
No, I know he's not. But do you think that could happen where Xavi will come in as a?
No.
It'd give him experience, Xavi, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think he can handle the pressure.
How would you know that?
Press tires.
Alex says, I honestly can see Pep staying to smash Ferguson's trophy haul, only 12 to equal it.
That means that he'll only be here for about, another 3, maybe 4 years?
I think you're going to say monster.
Tristan's put Andy for manager when Pep leaves. Well, we've got the same hairstyle, mate. So,
Yeah, Pep's better looking.
You're a bit white, but...
Right.
You need to
if anybody wants... Right, Anne-Marie, you've asked for this now, haven't you?
No.
You've asked for this. I'm sure the people in the chat...
I can't recall asking any question in the last hour.
Anne-Marie, I know you love me.
I love him. Absolutely love him.
I love you too.
Oh, light up, Marie.
Your materials is old as Stan Boardman.
Hey?
Your material is as old as Stan Boardman.
Yeah, you need to get one of them with Diaz.
Why?
Because
Diaz is back in the market. He's had a haircut.
So there's your homework for next week.
Is it?
Yeah.
You want me to get you fixed up with Diaz? It's not school, love. You go and sort it out yourself. Well, you go out with my mate. Formidable centurion. 14 Premier League for Pep would be hilarious. It really, really would. But yeah, I agree with Alec there. No, it's predominantly, well, it is a City channel, but Klopp does look ill.
I was going to say earlier, he told them in November, and I honestly fully expect that within 6 months of him leaving Liverpool, there'll be news of what's wrong with him.
Well, I hope not. It's like Formidable says there, banter aside, I hope Klopp gets his health, to its best. Absolutely, and I don't think anybody would say anything other than that. Alex says, Pep won't leave us in a mess like Ferguson with the rags who wanted Moyes. Something, that the chosen one. And it's right,
It's your job.
No, but for me, that's one of the biggest problems. And look, I don't care what happens with United, but one of the biggest problems is that he's still sat in that director's box week in, week out, and he should have absolutely no say at what goes on in that club. And years ago, when Busby retired and he was sat in the director's box, they all said it was a mistake in being sat in the director's box because it put pressure on the next managers. Well, it's exactly the same with Ferguson, and Ferguson has far too much say of what goes on at United still to this day.
You all right there, love?
Yeah, sat there, isn't it? He sat there like that Black Mountain in the Hobbit thing. Sauron's eye sat there watching.
Yeah.
And if any of the Orcs do anything wrong, he'll be tipping up the table and serving rotten chicken. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Maybe the diet isn't right. I don't know.
Neither's
Could
mine.
be anything.
Pardo says, what has Klopp achieved to deserve this adulation? They know, mate, because what he's achieved in 8 years, Pep achieved in 10 days.
I love that one. It'll go in about 10 years. That'll end up that. What Klopp did in 15 years, Pep did in 20 minutes. That's the way this one's going, and it's great. I'm going to do nothing to stop it.
Mine says Worcester is a word, and couldn't say Friday night. Friday night? What are you on about Friday night?
Well, yeah, that's even further back in time than me.
Martin, I don't know what you mean with it. Worcester is a word Andy couldn't say Friday night.
I know what he's referring to.
I don't. No,
he was talking about when Worcester beat Liverpool in the cup. It was some after the bit ago.
Not got a clue. DC, I was a City fan before Pep, and I will continue to be after Pep, but I'll be devastated when he goes because he's special. It is, but it's going to happen. But that's why we've just got to really, really enjoy and embrace what we've got now, because I always say football goes in cycles, and it could
if we
be
replace Frank Clark, we replace Pep. Simple as that.
Frank. Did you say Frank Clark then?
That's what I thought I said.
I did.
Yeah. What with his guitar?
He may as well. Bloody guitar.
Blue Art says that there is a lot of pressure. If Liverpool's Klopp and Barca manager had FFP and 115 charges, they would have left before this season. Pep, the club, and the fans are top for sticking with it. I get what you're saying there, mate, because it could be quite easy to imagine the pressure what Pep's under.
But it would be easy. It would be easy for Pep to walk away because all these charges originate and go back to before Pep became our manager. And yet he'll go nowhere until this is all sorted, and he can turn around and stick two fingers up to the media and all those clubs that were grassing us up and say, there you go. I don't know whether anybody watched the programme on BBC One this week about chasing perfection and Pep Guardiola. Absolutely fantastic programme.
I've not seen it yet. Yeah,
But it's well worth watching, Andy. I was very impressed by it.
I remember them first 2 games. I remember them really well, those first 2 games for him at Barcelona. And he was under massive pressure because at that time, them turning down Mourinho was considered. And he lost the first game to Numancia away. That's unbelievably small club. And then they got a draw. And then it just clicked on the 3rd game. I think they won 5 or 6-0. And they were right the way through it then until they won the league. They lost a couple at the end, because they were resting players for the Champions League. I think they then went on and smashed Man United, didn't they? Yeah. Which was nice.
It's not difficult these days, though, is it?
It was a bit harder then, to be fair. But mind you, we beat them 5-1. No, you're right, Andy.
That's
it wasn't that good.
So, with regards to, we've gone off a little bit about the Spurs match, haven't we? As we always do, because we have a good giggle and stuff.
Well, we've got Omar Barada to go. That just reminded me. We've not mentioned him yet.
We did last week. If you'd have been here.
I can't help that, can I?
No, I know, Stan. I'm sorry.
Have a bit of that.
No, it's just at the end of the day, it's put the press into the right situation. And I'm going to say now what I would have said last week. Last week, or the week before, biggest criminal walking the planet. Absolutely horrible. This week, fantastic signing. There's only 2 ways this is going to be in it. Either United have done their research and they know there's nothing there, so they thought we'll get him while things are while things are hot and everything's up in the air, or they've just bought another dud. And you think, well, hang on a minute, are they that stupid? And then you realise that they are. You're still none the wiser, are you? So we're still either, we're either innocent or they bought another dud. And
Pep says they should give him a statue.
I mean, that's for you, Paddy, that. Daffy Duck. Stan, I will say one thing, mate. Normally, you're 4 months behind everyone else. You're only a week behind us now. You're catching us up.
Well, not because I'm managing to get enough sleep to remember things.
Oh, God. Daffy Duck. Mate, that's done me, that one. So we're on to midweek game now.
Yeah, Burnley.
No, hang on. What about the women today? Went to Tottenham and won 2-0.
Yeah.
If the lads can do it, they can do it better.
It's not difficult.
Another goal for Bunny as well.
Listen,
Do you know what? If you saw the game today, I thought they were unbelievably solid and professional. That was a really, really good. I mean, Tottenham aren't bad at home in the league. And to go there, keep a clean sheet, win 2-0, win comfortably. Again, I think they only had 1 shot on target, didn't they, or 2, Amber? There wasn't much there.
Yeah.
Listen,
So we've lost your version of KDB and still go there and do all right.
Yeah.
Listen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Listen. Best to Joel Road and a speedy recovery.
It's not difficult. Listen, it's not difficult to go to Spurs and score, is it?
Well, they didn't, did they? Because they went to Barnet, but then again, that's...
Hey, leave the Barnet alone, mate.
No. Nothing ever happens on your Barnet, so you'll be all right.
So, yeah, cheers, mate. So, that brings us on to Burnley. They've been absolute dog shite, haven't they, this season?
And they will continue to be.
Fucking Brazil against us.
Yeah.
The prime 80s Brazil, won't they? Not Alan Brazil.
This is one of them games that you just can't help as a City fan. One of our top youth products, Jamie Trafford, is there, isn't he? And you know he's going to turn around now and be intergalactic world class at Gordon Banks. And it's just, what can you do? You just know it's coming.
But hang on, you say that, Stan, but he didn't have that great a game against us at the first game of the season, did he?
No, but that's what somebody who's going to have an absolute stormer at home would say.
No, I think. Look, I think.
Good to see you, Pete, mate.
Call me biased, but I think we'll win easy on Wednesday night.
We probably will, but I just can't help it. It's just.
What? So do you think? Anne-Marie? Do you think we'll score past intergalactic Gordon Banks?
Yes, I think we will. More than once as well.
That's definitely that. Oh, Stan, we love you, Stan, don't we? Yeah, so let's have some. Should we do predictions? You don't normally do well, do you, Anne-Marie?
Well, I usually go for the same score in every game, which will be 3-1 City. But I don't actually see Burnley scoring against us on Wednesday, so I'm going to go 5-0.
I thought you were going to say 3-0. Well, Gunners on TikTok says he's going for 6-0. City.
No.
8-1.
And let's not forget as well, he says as well, they've got Liverpool on Sunday at the Emirates, so we could find ourselves in a tidy position come the end of, well, this time next week, couldn't we?
I was saying this about 3 weeks ago. You know, we've got a game, we've got to go to Liverpool. We've got Arsenal to come to our place, and Liverpool have got to play Arsenal. We walk away with 5 points out of that. I think we'll get more, but if we walked away with 5 points out of all that, we'll be going through into Easter in March and all that in front. So, what about it?
In March before Easter?
No, I said Easter and before March.
Mate.
And before you say you can't get 5 points out of 6 games, I'm saying, you know, it was 4 points in it because you get a win and a draw. Winning and a draw out there would be all right because Liverpool and Arsenal, one of them will drop 2 points when they play each other. Yeah, at least.
Martin says, talk about how good Walker was, had some stick, but was outstanding Friday. Listen, I've got on record to say I don't think Kyle Walker's had a bad season. People have made out he's had a bad season. I don't. I think he's done well this season. Any thoughts?
I still maintain that he shouldn't be pushing on. He should be the last defender.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's Pep's TikToks, isn't it?
I know that. Like Pep has a lot to learn too, you know. Someday he'll be good.
Jack says Walker was fantastic in that game in his first decent performance all season. He needs to keep at this level now and not go back to being rubbish. See, I was thinking, Jack, I really wish you'd say what's on your mind.
Well, I kind of agree with him. I kind of agree.
Do you know what? Today, I think I'm going to go out and be crap.
I don't think Walker's had a great season so far.
Why?
Because I think at times he's been. If you look at, if I just use the Newcastle game as the example, I think he got caught out quite a few. You know, certainly for their 2 goals, I think he was caught out of position, and that is due to him going so far forward, which I know is what Pep's telling him to do, but he should also know that he has to get back as well. And he's done that a few times this season. So I think there's room for improvement with Walker. I think he did have a good game.
I think there's more than players he needs to keep in his pocket, Anne-Marie.
Yes, I know.
But with all due respect, Anne-Marie, with all due respect, I would rather take Pep's opinion than anybody else's.
Fair enough.
If you're comparing leg for leg, if you're comparing leg for leg,
if Pep's playing him, Pep means he must be happy with him.
Of course, he's happy with him because he wouldn't be on the team otherwise. But when Gaviscon goes forward, Aki has his back. When Walker goes forward, Diaz doesn't do the same job as Aki. He doesn't cover as much ground.
Nathan Ake. Man love.
And
Man love for Nathan Ake.
Anne-Marie doesn't like one-sided players either.
Hey, I tell you what, Andy, he's one of them players you were talking about before. You know, even if we went out and got somebody that nobody really thinks much of. Aki was definitely one of them, wasn't it? Why are we signing a centre-back from Bournemouth? Not been a bad shout, has it?
No, considering we almost let him go to Newcastle as well.
Yeah.
Martin said was referring to your condition Friday night. What You've really lost me. You've really lost me here. Does anybody know what he's on
There's
about?
the thing. Name a player that Pep has signed that hasn't really worked out. And all the time he's been there.
Phillips.
Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Torres.
All right, love.
Yeah, the lad up front and the lad up back.
Calm down.
Yeah, no, she's right there. Pinky and Perky from Barcelona. Him up front and him at the back. What was he called, that centre back?
Garcia.
So good, we forgot. Yeah, he's I think he's at Girona now, isn't he? Along with
He didn't come into the first team.
No, but we bought him.
Did play in the first team.
No,
Yeah,
but we bought him and did a U-turn on
He
him.
wasn't on the first team.
Yeah, but to be fair though, right? Yeah, Torres didn't work out, but we made some decent cash on him.
Oh yeah, I'm not disputing that, but you asked the question. A player that Pep bought.
Paddy asked it, not me.
A player. Well, either one of you who asked it. Player that Pep bought that didn't work out. And there's your answer.
Like the only two players Pep has signed that hasn't really worked out has been Bravo and Calvin Phillips.
Listen, it's not a bad track record that for 8 years, is it?
Oh, there's more than that.
But it's not 100%, is it?
Listen, and that just shows that the consistency of everything else, doesn't it? Really, when and it's not only through Pep, but it's a scouting system as well.
There you go. Pardo Oaks has got one for you. Mendy.
Yes.
But
I tell you another one.
It was him above you. It was him above you, Anne-Marie. Who asked the question?
I was just pointing out the comment. Proving that I do read the comments at the side.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one. Paul Gamble said on TikTok, Nolito.
Was he a Pep buy?
Yeah, but did Pep sign him? I'm not sure he did.
I don't think Pep signed him.
To stay with this will get everyone. What about Leroy Sané? Did he work out?
Yeah, I saw him in the gym.
Don't anyone answer that. Don't anyone answer it. I'm just winding everybody up. I'm just.
Hang on, I've got a text message from Martin here. Maybe he's explaining. He's put, you was that pissed you couldn't say Worcester. I still don't know what you're on about, mate.
You obviously spoke to Martin on Friday night when you were drunk, Andy.
I might have done. I don't remember. I don't remember speaking to him anyway.
And you Worcester sauce on your kebab.
I've never ate a kebab in my life. I've not.
What?
So yeah, are we optimistic before we skedaddle about this time next week? Will we be sat here in a very comfortable position? What can we hope for at the Emirates? 1-1, something, a draw?
Would be a great result, and then we beat Brentford on Monday night.
Gunnar says, Andy, you drunk on Friday? I was. Or was that a thing you bought? I don't know what he's on about. Sorry, Anne-Marie. Are we hoping for a draw there?
Hoping for a draw, and then we'll beat Brentford on Monday night.
Stanley?
Yeah, but you know who's back for Brentford?
Tony, yes, I know.
We should be able.
What's the odds?
We should be able to get the result.
Hey, what's the odds?
Should be able to get the result of that.
Any Alex says any quiz is happening. Yeah, but Martin keeps bottling out because I think he knows the PUBcast will beat him. What do you reckon, Anne-Marie?
Oh yeah, win easy.
As long as we've not got Paddy. Paddy's shocking at quizzes, aren't you?
Yeah. How about Daniel Arzani?
Our very own Stato here.
He was a flop.
Stan, you Googled that.
Oh, I think we'll be Adam Sandler.
We can see the screen on your face.
You what?
We can see the reflection of the screen on your face. You're Googling.
He's Googling.
I know I'm Googling.
He's Googling.
Do you think he'd come out with that off the top of my head? What about Philip Sandler? Yeah. There was another wasted $2.5 million.
You come out with anything.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not though, am I? I'm actually unlike you, Paddy. I'm actually looking at what are facts. Palaversa.
Well. Adam says Nolito. Yeah. Max Mendy. Good evening, Tom. Yeah. So is he flawed then, Anne-Marie? Seeing as you're slagging all his signings off. Or was you just
slag all his signings off?
Or was you just slagging off the right-sided ones off?
Well, yeah, Mendy's a left back. Thank you.
No, I said, was you slagging all the? You was all right with Mendy, though, weren't you?
No, I thought he was a flop, wasn't he?
Well, I wouldn't know. Excuse me. Is it past the watershed?
Take that word for you. I would take your word for it, Anne-Marie, because you had 5 at Old Trafford. You'd be a good judge on that.
I'm surprised you've not said Mahrez, to be honest, Anne-Marie.
He's no good at the.
No, because at the end of the day, Mahrez wasn't my type of player, but he did what he needed to do. So, and he was part of a treble-winning team, so he can't have been a flop, can he? Just because I didn't personally like him, and he wasn't my type of player, doesn't make him a flop.
No, fair play to you for answering.
Where's good evening, where's mate? Could the Walker issue be the captain's armband?
I thought that.
Do you think it's too tight? That's what.
I don't know. Do
you think it's too tight?
What, Stan?
Do you think it's too tight, the armband? That's why he's walking funny, or he's not got enough blood going to his head or something? I don't
know. Stan, stop it.
Oh, he's on fire tonight.
I wish he was. Paul says defence has been a bit leaky this season. Pep showed it up against Spurs every chance we sneak away. No, I agree. Even defensively, we look well on Friday. I keep getting lost with the day we played, didn't we? Hello.
Yes.
Thank you, Andrew.
I'm just reading that comment.
Which one?
Injury in the CPS did Mendy in.
Yeah, but let's not forget he was innocent. Maybe Wesley. Yeah, it could be Wes. Yeah, I think I'm reading what a comment on that one. Walker is a ticking time bomb. See, I must be the only. I just think Walker's been all right this season. He's been playing to Pep's instructions.
He has, but I do think he's got it in him to give a foul away or do something that isn't necessary.
You could aim that at Diaz, though.
Yes, you could. You could aim it at any of them. I'm not disputing that. Mm-hmm. But for me, the issue I think it's because he does get so far forward. It becomes more noticeable when he isn't back in that position to defend. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, but you can't do both. You can't do both.
No,
because
you can't
Gaviscon
do
doesn't
both.
defend.
and that's-
Are you used to having a row?
No.
No,
Right.
I'm just saying. Like,
I'm about to separate you now. Oh no, you're at the side of each other now. Like Waldorf and Statler now used to. Steve's put Mendy was just after Phillips in games to trophies ratio. Did you listen? God bless Calvin Phillips. He got interviewed off West Ham TV. Like, what's your biggest achievement? Winning the Champions League, and stuff. And I just thought Calvin had said something different.
Oh,
Yeah.
he went from one European champion to another European champion. Yeah.
Yes, indeed he did. But to sit there and take credit for a league winners medal, an FA Cup winners medal, and a Champions League winners medal, a Super Cup winners medal, and a World Club Champions winners medal.
Right.
When you actually didn't play.
But you could say that against Ortega.
Martin obviously knows something I don't about Friday night here. Oh man, oh god.
Right. We're going to have to get going, folks.
You going, Star?
Yeah, I'm going to have to get going.
He's going intergalactic.
You're going to see the intergalactic Trafford.
No. I've got.
Yeah, we'll park it here for this week anyway. Listen, good to see you back. Seriously, thanks to see you back, mate. Good to see you back.
Yeah, no, right.
Always a pleasure.
Look after everybody.
As always, thanks for everybody who's interacted on TikTok as well tonight. You know, that was that was a bit of an experiment tonight. You know, it's good to see people on there. Anne-Marie, as always, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. And more importantly, everybody, as always, in the chat. You know, we love doing it when everyone's in the chat. You know, it makes our week, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves.
And we will do it again next Sunday, and hopefully 6 points in the bag. Have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye now.
We've only got one game, Andy. Can't have 6 points in the bag.
I'll edit this bit out. Bye.